everyone, Cherry here. I am hunched over because this tripod is very small and I've yet to buy a bigger one. Today, as you can see, we're back in the bathroom. We are going to go to Ilsan Park to check out the beautiful cherry blossoms that are in bloom right now. Yesterday was rainy, so I was a bit worried that maybe the rain would ruin them, but I checked on Instagram and people have been posting a lot of pictures from today and yesterday and the cherry blossoms look fine, so I'm gonna be going there to check it out for myself. And I will be going solo, so this is my first time like going out and about solo. It is about like an hour and a half away from this exact location, so it's gonna be like a little bit of an adventure, if you will. And thinking to myself, like, you know what, I should try going out somewhere by myself to see if I can do it. And well, today is the day. Also, I have officially been here for a month. I did arrive to Korea in February 6th, but I had to do my quarantine for 2 weeks, orientation and all this and that, but like I've officially been like here working and living and adjusting for a month. So I'm also viewing today's little trip as like a celebration for my 1 month here. Oh my god, what? I like to think about things like really deeply, and I feel like being able to see the cherry blossoms bloom as I am getting adjusted to this new chapter in my life is just like a way to kind of like celebrate the new beginning of what I got myself into here. So anyways, I'm tired of hunching myself over to fit into the frame of this camera. Let's go. I'm back, and I barely got any vlogging footage or pictures of myself because I felt very awkward and bored by myself and I did not have a fun time. That's just it. I did not have fun being by myself, and I know there's like a lot of vloggers that go out and about by themselves and like, you know what, it's just peaceful to take yourself out on a date, you know, just be alone. And no, I want to be with a person. Like, I did not have fun. I really was trying to be like in the moment, appreciating the nature, but like it was so crowded there. That park was huge. I had to do a lot of walking. My shoes were uncomfortable. I should have worn sneakers, but I was like, no, let me be fashionable. So I wore these shoes, and you know, they're not that bad, but they're also not meant for walking a lot, but just pretended that my feet didn't hurt and just owned it. There was a lot of couples, families, and friend groups hanging out under the cherry blossom trees. A lot of people taking cute pictures. Some people even brought like a light setup and got all professional with the situation there. And there's just me by myself. I was imagining prior to arriving there, taking out my tripod and taking pictures of myself, but it was too hard to, because of there being so many people going in and out of the trees and stuff like that. It would have been easier if I had someone with me that could like, you know, kind of like maneuver, but it was just, I probably could have made it work by myself with the tripod, but I felt shy, and also it's just hard when there were so many people like trying to set up shop with a tripod and everything, the self-timer and all that. I don't know, it was just a lot of people there. Like, wow. And it would have been nice to have someone next to me to like externalize my thoughts with, like, oh wow, look at this, look at that, blah blah blah, you know. But I was just like there keeping everything to myself, and I guess I really am more of an extrovert now that I realize it. Like, having another person there just would have been fine, and I guess I could have like whipped out the vlogging camera and pretended I was talking to a person, aka you who's watching this video right now. But again, it just felt kind of weird because I was by myself and there was like so many people there. Like, ugh. I'm still glad that I went, because I would have been wondering what it would have been like if I didn't go. But yeah, it was just not really that fun going by myself, to be completely honest with you. So hopefully I can use this as a benchmark, and next year when it's cherry blossom season again, I will look back on this moment and be like, wow, remember when I barely had any friends in Korea? Those were the days. Now I have tons of people I know that I can have fun with. That's the goal. Anyways, I figured since this cherry blossom vlog is a bit of a fail, I will combine this with my 1 month living in Korea review video. Even though today was relatively disappointing, I do think that this first month here living in Korea has just been like awesome. It really has been. Like, I really feel like I made one of the best decisions of my life, and that feels a little bit embarrassing to admit because like I still haven't really experienced a whole lot of things to really have a more solid opinion. I could still be in that honeymoon phase, still looking at things through a rose-tinted glasses or however they call it, but to put how I feel into words right now is I truly think I made one of the best decisions ever. I feel like my life just took a 180 for like the positive. So I'm gonna go on now and explain the positive things that have happened to me living here and how it's so much better than when I was living in the States, and then also things that surprised me about living here, and also things that were difficult with living here. So I guess we'll start first with the things that surprised me, which is not going to take that long. First thing that surprised me the most was I thought that, you know, we're in Korea, we're in Asia, tea would be a very popular thing. Like, not to really compare, but like the only other country I've ever really lived in was like Japan for my study abroad, and there were so many milk tea options to get in the convenience store, grocery store, everywhere. Here, none. Everything else is coffee. Like, coffee is so popular here. Like, there is more coffee that you can get here in the convenience store than a 7-Eleven in the States. Like, it's just like 3 times, 4 times as much different coffee. Teacher's room always have so much coffee, like the teacher's lounge. And the coffee here also is like, it's all like an instant coffee. Like, I don't see like coffee maker with like the filter and the ground and stuff. It's all instant, and basically it's like, it's a really tiny packet. You pour it into a small cup and you add a little bit of water. That's how they do it here, at least in the teachers lounges and stuff like that. It's almost like you're taking a shot, but it's not like a big, like in the States it's like you put the coffee in the filter and you get like a big cup of coffee, but it's like the coffee grounds. But here it's more so the instant coffee, or coffee mixed with milk, and that you get from like the convenience store and stuff like that. So I was surprised with that, but I'm totally okay with it because I love coffee and I don't mind instant coffee. I know some like coffee connoisseurs, snooty coffee fans think instant coffee is bad, but I think it tastes good. I like what they got here, so I'm okay with that. Also, I was surprised to learn that Korean culture is very like fast paced. Like, things just move fast here. Literally, the bus driver, the bus ride today, I almost got dizzy because it was just moving so freaking fast. Taxi moves fast. Trends come and go. People make decisions quite fast here. Like, everything just moves very, very fast, and I like that too. I like that things are like constantly evolving and stuff like that, and I think that's how Korea was able to, like, if you ever look into Korea's history, for how they developed in such a short amount of time is like really interesting. It's very amazing. Another thing that surprised me about living here in Korea was how truly complicated the banking system is. For to access your personal bank account on your computer or your phone, it is so freaking hard. Like, I have to download a software on my computer, and then for my phone, I don't even know how to get in on that thing. Like, my main co-teacher has been helping me with all this stuff, and I feel bad for the guy because like it really takes a long time to like help me get this stuff set up, but he helps me and I'm thankful. But boy, is it taking up a lot of his time. It's all for security purposes. That's really what it is. But yeah, it's complicated. Moving on, the things that I found to be difficult here. So the things that I found to be difficult was riding the bus, going to the grocery store, and trash. So riding the bus, where I live is a very rural area, which I guess I'll talk more about later, but to me is not rural. I feel like I'm still in a big city, but by Korea this is considered rural. So there are like 2 buses called the village bus that go 2 different routes that go around the town and everything like that. So that's what I take to get to the train station. But the actual navigation of the bus was not complicated. There's Kakao Map, there's Kakao Bus app, like there's many different ways that you can easily see how the bus goes around town and how to use navigation to get to where you want to go. The thing that was very difficult about the bus was the fact that there was several times when I would be waiting at the stop and the bus just zooms past me. On the map it says that the bus is approaching, it's arriving, it's here, then it's gone. And I'm like, why didn't it stop for me? Like, that was something that was really confusing me, and I didn't understand how to solve this problem until this weekend. It happened a couple of times where I would be waiting and then the bus would just zip right by me, and then I would wait for the next bus to come, then it would pick me up. But I didn't understand why it didn't pick me up. At first I thought that maybe the bus like just wasn't gonna go to my stop that day. I don't know. That was my first thought that came to mind. After it happened a couple of times, I started to think, oh my gosh, can the bus tell that I'm a foreigner and that's why it doesn't want to pick me up? I was really thinking that. And I don't live in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's a bunch of apartments and stuff, but most of the time I'm like the only one on the bus stop here. Very rarely will there be another person there waiting with me. So it's only one person. So it's like, you know, I was really thinking that, like, last Friday, I was supposed to go eat dinner with some of the other teachers in town, but I canceled plans because the bus zoomed right past me, and that felt like oh my god, like that. I just felt very embarrassed by the situation for some reason, and I just canceled. I was like, guys, the bus drove by me again. I don't understand why. I'm very annoyed by this. I do not want to hang out with anyone right now. I'm going to be a flake. I'm sorry. Yeah. And yeah, I really thought that the bus didn't want to pick me up because they could tell that I'm a foreigner. Well, when I told my friends that, one of them suggested, did you wave to the bus? And I was like, no, like, I never had to do that before. I don't know why, like, today it's just like not picking me up. I don't understand. That was a hint as to the problem that I was having. So I went in this Kakao chat with a bunch of other teachers that live in the same province, and everyone else is pretty much for the most part placed in a rural area. So I asked them, like, hey, have you ever had the bus like drive past you while you were waiting at a stop? And someone said, yeah, that happened to me. You have to hail the bus down, like wave at the bus to let them know that you want to get on. And I was like, are you really? That's what I had to do this whole time? Like, what the heck? So as I thought about it more, it makes complete sense, because at the particular stop that I wait at, there's actually 3 different buses that will go to that stop. And so the bus that I want, like, I see all 3 of those buses pass by, but how is that bus driver gonna know that I want to get on that bus? The only way I can really let them know is if I raise my hand and kind of like gesture for the driver to stop. Otherwise, that driver could think I'm waiting for the next bus, and that driver could think I'm waiting for the next bus, and that driver could think I'm waiting for the next bus, okay? So that was it. Other than that, it's pretty easy, and it's quite fun, but sometimes a little nauseating with how fast that thing goes around and how fast they drive around those corners. Oh my gosh. Okay. The next thing that confused me was going to the grocery store and just understanding what the heck the cashier was saying to me. I really came here not knowing any Korean. Like, yeah. So, but from when I studied in Japan, I did remember that going to the grocery store and going into the convenience store and dealing with transactions with cashiers was something that was unexpectedly very difficult for me at first there, but I got the hang of it. However, when I was in Japan, I at least had been studying Japanese for quite some time, so it was easy for me to pick up on it. But here, like, dealing with the same problem and also not even knowing a lick of Korean was what's making this very difficult. Ultimately, what the cashier usually will ask you is if you have a point card and if you want a bag. That's it. They'll also tell you the total of your purchase too. I finally got the hang of how to say I don't have a point card. They ask me like blah 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 있어요, and I just say 없어요, mean I don't have it. I understand that now. Good for me. I just nailed that last Friday, so it took me 4 weeks to understand that. Wow. But for the bag, I still cannot tell when they ask me if I want a bag. Like, like I just, like, it sounds different every time. It just does. I don't know. Usually though, they see me carry the canvas bag, and like what I do is after they ring up each item, I automatically put it in my bag. I do that so they don't even ask me if I need a bag, because they tell I already have a bag, and then I pay with my card and go. That's still the thing. I still cannot tell the difference when they ask me that. It just sounds different every time, I swear. Because I would actually avoid going to the convenience store for a while, because I really like the convenience store. They have like lots of good snacks and stuff, and it's literally downstairs. Like, I live in an apartment and the first floor is a convenience store and the landlord office. That's an amazing deal. So yeah, I was like avoiding going there for a few weeks, but I was like, you know what, let me just go. I want to get a drink. I want to get grape soda. The grape soda here is so freaking amazing. I love it. Well, anyways, next thing finally that confused me about living here was the trash system. I didn't throw my trash away for like 3.5 weeks because I was afraid. I was afraid to throw my trash away. The reason is because trash sorting here is very serious, but it depends on your apartment and your city. So basically, I didn't throw my trash away for a while because I was like slowly just like observing like what people did with their trash here. And ultimately how it is here is that you have to have 2 separate bags that you buy from a convenience store that's only available at a convenience store. One of those bags is for your food waste. So that's like if you have like an apple core or chicken bones, like stuff like that, you put it in that bag. The other bag is for non-recyclable items. So that could be things like face mask, just like other things that you can't recycle. Then for your recyclables, which is like paper, cardboard, cans, plastics, things like that, you put that in a clear bag. And there is a trash area where you just take your stuff down. And I was really afraid of doing it wrong because I thought that the landlord would like yell at me or something like that. But so far, that is not a problem. I have not gotten in trouble thus far. So I think I'm doing it right. But that was something that was really intimidating for me. I had just trash like in my room for quite some time before I threw it away. Okay, so those are the things that I found to be challenging. The next thing and final thing I'll talk about is going to be the things that, like, I guess the really positive things I have ran into while living here. So I really love my town that I'm in. I really do. I was very intimidated by living in a more rural area because before I got here, when I was still in orientation, I looked at my location on the map, and you know, being close to North Korea was something that made me a little not nervous, but you know, like it's just like, what in the world? Like, I kind of expected it, but I just didn't think it would actually happen. But here I am, and it's just like any other place. Like, this town right here isn't that close to the border, but my elementary school, that's my main school that I'm at 3 days a week, is really close to the border. Like, it's right by that river. And a couple days after school, you just see tanks kind of going down the street. I mean, school bus has to pull over to the side to let them pass by. So yeah, that's just it, you know. It's not necessarily dangerous. It's just it is what it is, you know what I mean? So yeah, but I thought that it would, like, when I looked up the name of my town, it was described as a village. And when I think of the word village, I think of like being in like huts, you know, like you're really like in like, not like the jungle, but like you're in a very woodsy area. Like, it's not very quote unquote developed or whatever. So that's what I was anticipating. Like, I really thought that. But when I got here, it's like there's tons and very, very tall apartment complexes, grocery stores, you know, things like that, a karaoke place, fast food place, restaurants, like there's a haircut place, like there's all sorts of stuff. And there's several schools here too. There's a big high school there, then there's my second elementary school, which is also pretty big over there. It's very well populated, so it really does not feel like a village. It really doesn't feel rural. It really feels like I'm in like a big city compared to where I'm from in Florida, which is a touristy beach town that everything is spread out. Like, it's just very boring. And I think sometimes people here, they're surprised when I tell them I'm from Florida. You know, they think of a beautiful beach, Disney World, all of this really beautiful stuff. They probably think like, why would you enjoy living here? Like, it's like, you know, why would you enjoy it? But I really do. I like it. I like that there's a lot of people around. There's always kids at the playground, like just tons of kids playing on the playground. There's people walking in the street. I feel very safe. I mean, I know that crimes happen in Korea. I'm not going to say that, oh my god, this is the safest place in the world. But, you know, if I walk around this area at 10 p.m., like, no one walks up to harass me like they would where I'm from in Florida. If I walk around a certain area at 10 p.m., people are going to walk up and talk to me and all this, that, and annoying stuff. But this doesn't happen here. People just keep to themselves because it's a very family-oriented place. Like I said, there's tons of apartment complexes with like families and children and stuff like that. So it's very safe and I really like that. And even though it is rural, there's tons of stuff to do and it doesn't feel boring. And it's definitely small when you compare it to Seoul or like the big parts of Seoul, but it's very more metropolitan and populated from where I'm in Florida, and that's what I use as a base for comparison. So yeah, I really like it here. It's very nice and comfortable. And then also to get to Seoul is like, you know, it's like an hour and a half, whatever, train ride. I'll take it. It's better than 2 hours, 3, well, sometimes it's 2 hours to get to this particular area, depending on like the train arrival, departure times, buses changing and stuff like that. But, you know, compared to like living in another place, I mean, hey, it's not a bad deal. It's a pretty straight shot. It's not super confusing to get to at least like Hongdae, you know? So I really like that. And also, just like other things that have changed for the positive for me. I mean, just like having a job that didn't make me want to KMS is just a great and amazing life change for me. Holy cow. I really think that I'm an awesome teacher. Like when it comes to having the right heart and enthusiasm, there's still some intricacies about being a teacher that just like I just never thought about until I got here that I need to improve on, but that's gonna be, I'm gonna talk about that more in my teaching video. But for the most part, I think it's a great job. People at the school like me, the students enjoy me, and that just feels very fulfilling. Other teachers say that I do a good job. It just feels very good, you know? And I do believe I'm doing a good job, so I really like that feeling. So that in turn has helped me just lower the stress levels on my body and just make me feel happier. I do enjoy actually going to work. Like I'm looking forward to tomorrow where I'm gonna go at my second school. So having that higher level of happiness is just making my life better. Moving here during the panorama was a bit difficult, and sometimes I do feel like there are some awkward moments with being a foreigner because there is a little bit of a stigma that foreigners are like the cause of COVID or something like that. It just felt a little awkward because it's like it felt like foreigners were being targeted, and I just was afraid that like people were thinking badly of me because I'm a foreigner. They might suspect that I have COVID or something or be carrying it. There was a situation last Friday when me and my friend who's Filipino, we went to this chicken place and we wanted to sit down there and eat. And at that time it was around 9:30 p.m. and inside the restaurant there was 3 girls sitting at a table. The rest of it was empty. So when we said that we wanted to dine in, they said that it has to be takeout because the restaurants reaching capacity or something like that. And we were really confused by that because there was really only 3 girls sitting there and there was tons of spaces available. So we started to think to ourselves, oh my gosh, are they like discriminating against us because we're foreign and they can tell that we're like not Korean? But really what it was that the door said it closed at midnight, but I realized with COVID, nothing's open till midnight anymore. They have to close at 10 and it was 9:30. So like they probably didn't want us like to eat in there because they were gonna close soon. And then every other there's quite a few other people that came in after us. They all got takeout. They were mostly people that looked like they were delivery people, but I think not all of them were delivery people. They all just got like the takeout. And the time it took them a long time to make our chicken, and by the time that we got it, it was like closer to 10. So I really think the reason why they didn't want us to sit in there was because they were going to close soon and they didn't want us to like hold them up from closing on time. Because I worked in a restaurant, you really want no more customers like 30 minutes. You don't want to take any more customers 30 minutes before closing. So that's really what it was. So, you know, it's awkward being a foreigner during the time of COVID. But I thankfully have not had any direct, absolutely, undeniably undeniable discrimination being a foreigner during this time, so I'm really thankful for that. But because of this, I've been having awkward thoughts in my head about that. I'm actually getting so tired right now. I need to get ready to go to bed and wake up early tomorrow, but I wanted to get these thoughts out now before it becomes 2 months living in Korea and then I have to like backtrack and all that stuff. But no, we are really at that 1 month mark. I did it, I survived, and now I'm gonna just keep cruising along and see what more I can learn and how much more I can grow with this experience. There's awkwardness, there's confusion, there's language barriers, there's cultural misunderstandings, but I kind of like that. It keeps me on my toes. Please subscribe to make sure you're in the loop for whenever I upload again. Click the bell to get notified to be super in the loop of when I upload again. And is that all I have to say? That's all I have to say for now. So thanks so much for watching, and you'll see me in the next video of mine you decide to click on. Bye!